In business, we're often looking for the right customer or the right client. And this is probably a good time to make the distinction that a customer we typically think of as someone who comes in or interacts with us or we follow up with and they have a transaction. And then there's a person that we think of as a client, and we think of that person as one to which we cater to their needs in a more expansive way, sort of an ongoing relationship. But we're looking for the right customer or client, whatever we're doing, always. And I've learned that it is not so much looking for the right customer or client, which is important, but it's treating the customer or client the right way. Now, here's what I mean. Growing up, I worked in a restaurant, and this restaurant served a certain kind of cuisine, and it was in a certain neighborhood, and various customers came in from various situations and on certain days. For example, we would be open very late on the weekend, and people who were coming from a club would leave that club and they would come and they would get something to eat late at this restaurant. On Sunday morning, we'd have parishioners, congregations, worshipers coming in from church, and they would come in and get a particular meal. After school, there would be students who would come in who would want a meal of some kind after school. In the morning, there would be people going to work, and they would be getting what they get in the morning before they began their work. What I realized in this process is that we really didn't change who we were. We didn't change our message. We didn't change our branding. But we changed how we spoke to those particular categories relative to who we were. So students had a special of some kind that was inexpensive for students. We had a special for the late night party goers who were coming in. We had a special on Mother's Day or Father's Day. And if you see what I'm saying, we didn't change who we were, but we changed how we spoke to the audience relative to their interests, their category, and their situation. And that's an important lesson when it comes to building your business. Often we're looking for that right person, that right business. And we think in terms of, if we could just come up with that right product, boy, we could sell this to these people. And most businesses are really speaking to many different individuals. And within those individuals, there is a hidden interest or a hidden something where they resonate with a particular idea or a particular situation, or a hidden desire that the business taps in effectively because they speak to that person directly. That's the trick. It isn't so much trying to find a particular audience, which is of course valuable, but within that audience you have other segments, you have other components that you have to speak to, and then that is how you build a vibrant business, a vibrant customer base, a vibrant client base, a vibrant audience of those who will support your entity. So I want you to think about how you can take what you offer and slice it many different ways and make it appealing to various parties out there, not for the purpose of spreading yourself thin, but having something that speaks to the interests and needs of a particular audience at a particular time. Speak to that audience. What you'll find is, in your marketing, in your sales efforts, if they're falling short of where they should be, it's because you're not talking to enough people relative to their specific interests. So if you sell food, that's an easy one. You can look at the various categories I just gave you, the various days, the various hours and so forth, and you can speak to an audience relative to their needs, whether it's happy hour, whether it's breakfast, whether it's a business lunch, or whatever it is. If you offer shoes, you can speak to men, you can speak to women, you can speak to children, you can speak to dressing up in certain ways, whether it's the popular sneakers today, or whether it's comfortable shoes, or whether it's high something like a boot. I mean, you can speak to that audience in different ways relative to that product and their need and how they might use that product. You get what I'm saying. The idea here is to not just look at one audience, but to look at that audience in many different ways and find a way to speak to that audience so that you cover all the segments within that audience. And you're not looking for this perfect profile that really doesn't exist. You might have lots of people who respond to you that will surprise you. I know I've had that. I've had people who contact me, who want to work with me, and I thought, wow, that's another group I can interact with. And sometimes what you often will do is you'll make a judgment based on someone that contacts you, and you think, oh, okay, these are the only people I should be talking to, when in reality they're just an example of how that person relates to you and how that person has specific needs, and how you need to segment your approach so that you speak to more people because there are more needs out there. If you like this tip, let me know that you liked it. Share it with someone, give it a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.